Okay, well, welcome. I'm Annette from it'sadelight.com, and we're in the kitchen today because today I want to share with you how I make a probiotic rich berry fizzy light yummy drink that they often call kombucha, or sometimes people pronounce it kombucha. I am just going to show you simply how I make it work for us, how we love it, and I'm also going to give you a few resources at the bottom of some other sites that you can go and really learn a lot more about kombucha and other things that you can change or add up, okay? But we're going to start out. I got my supplies basically out, and I just have a jar. That's probably your number one most important thing is your jar. It has kind of a nice opening here, and it's just about the right size to hold how much kombucha I like to make for us that we can use in a matter of a week or so. But I didn't always have this, you might be looking thinking this cool fancy jar she has. Let me show you how I started out, okay? So when I started out, I just had a simple Pyrex glass bowl. And a glass bowl works. What I would do is I would put masking tape across this glass bowl, because when I show you later that you have to cover it, this would fall in. But if you just put masking tape across in an X, then your towel will go on and it won't fall into your bowl. Another way is in a jar. A jar works great. This is just left from large jar of pickles or something that was saved. It's a nice big half-gallon size, or might even be more than a half-gallon size. But I have another little tip just for you guys, and that is I found this at IKEA, and this is very similar in shape and style, and would really be, when I seen this, I said that would be a great kombucha jar. So let's just get started with the kombucha today. I'm gonna first put my jar just a little bit out of our way. I have my water measured out, and I have some ice water, and I have my tea, and I have my hot water. Okay, so I measured out my water, I poured it in my pan and got it hot so that it was ready to do tea. Next, for making kombucha, I use 2 bags of white tea, and I use 6 bags of black tea, okay? So I try to pick something organic, quality, and you can do all black tea. You can do, I'm gonna pull my tag off because my tag has a staple in it, and I don't want that in my tea. So if your tea has a staple, I try to avoid that, okay? That's kind of important to me. And like I said, you can use 4 of these. You can use all black. You can use part black, part white, part green. You got to be a little careful getting too crazy with flavors. Like you can't really use a mint tea or something like that. But basically what we're making is we're just going to let this steep. I'm going to put a lid on it. And I typically would just sit this in the back of my stove, and I wouldn't think about it for 10 or 15 minutes. I would set my timer and just going to let this tea steep. And you can use, I'll just say, you can use, it calls for 12 cups of water. So again, when I'm doing my water, I might put all 12 cups in here. Some people they want all of their water made into tea so that it's all flavored. I haven't found it to change a whole lot. I have a little ice water here because I'm going to show you if I only put 10 cups of water in here, then I can cool it down quicker when I'm busier and I don't have the time to let this sit to cool down to room temp. I will just use ice water to make up for my 12 cups, okay, 2 cups of ice water. So right now I've got my 10 cups of water in here. My tea is steeping, and I'm just gonna let it steep for 10 minutes, and then we'll strain it and I'll show you what I do next. Okay, so now it's been our 10-15 minutes, and then I come back I am going to kind of give it a little bit of a stir in here, just kind of, you know, hit those tea bags a little bit, okay? And then I am simply just going to scoop these tea bags out. And if you want to, I'll just let you see inside my pan here just for a minute before I take them out. My tea is a nice rich color, and I just, you could use tea bag squeezers or whatever, but I don't get real methodical about it and just take them out, okay? Now I have this wonderful golden tea, and basically what we're gonna do now is we are gonna add, forgot I was gonna dump it in my bowl, or my jar, but before I dump it in my jar, it is better to add your sugar here. So my water is still quite warm, okay? I'm gonna add 1 1/4 cup of sugar to my nice warm tea, and that's gonna cause my tea to dissolve, or my sugar, it's gonna cause my sugar to dissolve really well. Now, I'm gonna tell you a couple more things. One is, I am using organic cane sugar. You can use other sweeteners. I would encourage you to do a little bit of homework. Scobies are kind of picky about the kind of sugar. It's not like you can just switch it out for honey, or some people have recipes for coconut sugar, palm sugar, some other sweeteners. You can't use things like stevia. The yeast can't live off of that. Stevia doesn't have glucose. So just get yourself a good sugar, and again, I'm using organic sugar and organic tea bags because we're going to ferment this. And just get yourself a good quality sugar. I'm just continuing to stir so mine gets all dissolved. And I don't want to wait for this to cool down because I want to keep on showing you. And so just like if I was having a busy day, my full 12 cups wasn't in here of water. So I'm going to add 2 cups of icy cold water in this now. My sugar is all dissolved. Okay, looks great. And now I want to cool it down because I can't put my SCOBY in here when it's hot. It's just like yeast when you're making bread, and it will cause that to die, and we don't want that to happen. So our SCOBY is good. We can use it over and over and over and over again for years. And also I'll give you some links below. If you don't have a SCOBY, you can get one. If you know somebody that makes kombucha, get a SCOBY from them. They probably have extras that are growing all the time. I'm always giving some extra ones away. So my ice is melted. And I'm going to tell you 2 more important keys. One is my hands are very clean. I want to feel this now. Oh, very tepid. I like the feel of that. Not just barely lukewarm. That's perfect. And now we're going to gingerly pour this into our jar. Okay. See if I can do it without spilling it. And now you can see my tea in there even a lot better. And you see I used a stainless steel or metal to take my tea bags out with, and that was fine because this isn't kombucha yet. This is just tea. But going forward, now when I do anything with my SCOBY or my kombucha, or I'm going to test it, you don't want to use any stainless steel with it, okay? So use either a wooden spoon or rubber spatula. And again, I can't tell you enough, my hands are clean. So even when I'm doing this, I will stop from stirring everything. I would go wash my hands again before I touch that SCOBY. The whole purpose of that is because, again, it's just like if you're fermenting anything, or you're making cheese, or you're making kefir milk. Whatever is on our hands, or if our jar wasn't super clean, and I don't sterilize it, but just have it really good and clean, those fermented things will take on an off flavor, and it's hard to get rid of it. So I want my hands super clean. This is my little SCOBY hotel here, and you see I can even have like a little baby one that's growing on there. Okay, and if you're always wondering which side goes up, which side goes down, the smooth side is what's going to go on top. And the hairy side, maybe so to speak, the stringy side is what's going to go downward. I'm just going to put it on top. Okay. I forgot my hand towel. But I'm just going to let it sit. Sometimes it might sink a little bit. Sometimes it might kind of float crooked. Don't worry about it. Put it on top. This baby is ready to go. Okay. So now I'll tell you what I do next is I keep a couple thin towels. They're kind of like a bread towel, okay? Light linen. We have to cover it, but we don't want we don't want a sealed cover. Okay, we want to keep the dust, and in the summer you might have a few fruit flies. So then I'll put my rubber band on pretty tight, depending on the season I'm making it. And forgot one other more important thing also. Okay, so we've got our tea in here, we have our sugar in here, we have our SCOBY in here. One other thing that we want to do is, gotta watch my recipe, I need a half a cup of my SCOBY starter that I also add in here. And here's another good reminder is that I do not want to measure this with metal. So again, I have to get a plastic measuring cup to put my half a cup of starter in here, okay? And I would typically do that before my SCOBY is on top, just so that it would be stirred in and blended, okay? So let's say I put that in there, okay? And that starter is important. It's just gonna keep a really nice, yummy, good kombucha. And then the rest of this, I'm actually gonna save. I could drink this. I can keep this little baby SCOBY growing in it, and it's gonna be stored in my fridge, and it is gonna be stored sealed and covered, okay? Otherwise, you can just discard all that and you're not gonna need it, okay? I typically save it, but. So now my jar is ready. If it's in the summer, this is gonna go, because my temp would be warmer, it's probably gonna take, I would say between 5 and 7, maybe 8 days. And if it's in the winter time, this is probably gonna take more like 7 to 10 days, maybe even 11 days if my house is really cool, okay? And then we'll come back and I will show you how I take a little taste to see once if it tastes about right. It shouldn't taste sweet. It should start to taste a little bit fizzy and just very light. That's the stage, and when I get there, I'll remind you again that people say, isn't it super fizzy? It's not perfect. We can drink it just that, but that's where I'm going to take you to the next stage and show you how to turn it into a delicious berry or mango peach flavored yummy drink. So we're just going to stop right here. This is going to go, and it's just going to sit in my pantry, or it's going to sit in the back of my laundry room. I don't really want to move it around, disturb it, mix it all up. I don't really want to stir it at all. This is going to sit until it's been at least 5 days, and then we're going to test it. Okay, now I'll bring you back and show you how to finish up with your kombucha. Okay, so we're back in the kitchen now with the kombucha, and it's been several days. And so I am going to take my towel off, because what we want to do is we want to test this to see if it's ready. And what I'm looking for is, you can see that my my SCOBY is just nicely floating on top. And I'm gonna just dip my spoon right in here. I don't really want to disturb the whole thing, but see, I just kind of push that SCOBY a little to the side. I'm gonna dip my spoon in there. My hands are very, very clean. If I can get some out. Usually I just kind of take a plastic spoon, remember, because I don't want to use metal. There, I got a little bit. And I'm just gonna literally taste this, and I'll tell you what I'm looking for. This is like perfect. So I've got some fizz. It's been a little bit warmer in my house, and I'll just throw this little tidbit in there. It seems like the spring and the fall, that middle season where it's just starting to get 40s, 50s, maybe a 60-degree day, but still kind of cool at night. I don't know, for whatever reason in my house, that makes the best kombucha weather, and it kind of goes quickly. So it's not super sweet, it's starting to be a little tangy. I can go longer and they say the longer, the more probiotics with it. But I am just going to, this tastes right to me, good to me, fizzy to me. So what I do is, my hands are clean again. I'm going to lift my SCOBY right out. And you know, kind of careful with it, but I mean, it's a thick, rubbery. Just gonna set that in a bowl for now. We'll come back to that later. And now I am just going to pour this off into you can strain it actually, you don't have to strain it at this point really. And it's just to, and actually I want to save a good amount, so this is probably good. I got a good 2 cups in there that I want to save, okay? Because we're going to need that to store with our other one. So this is perfect. And now I am going to put this in my jars. You can do, I have pints here, and it's just because there's only a couple of us now that are at home, but I used to do quart jars. You can do quarts. I could just do 1 half-gallon jar and put all this into one flavor. We like to do lots of flavors, so that's what I'm going to do here with you guys today and show you how I do that. I'm just going to put, actually, you know what? I'm going to put my fruit in first. So then I know exactly how much to fill my kombucha. So my kombucha, that's what I call it, my kombucha fruit, is a bag of fruit I keep in my freezer. I always have little tidbits of leftover blueberries from something, blackberries, a few peaches. I will say this is a great way to use up a little bit of mango, pineapple, some strawberries, fruits that you might use for smoothies, because we also use this fruit for smoothies. When you need to just tuck some in the freezer because you bought a quart or a pint, you didn't use it all, you got a few left, you don't want them to go moldy. Tuck it in the freezer and it's perfect for kombucha. So I am going to just literally drop whatever flavors I want. We like strawberry, but we really love strawberry with some blueberries and blackberries, which I don't have today. But I'm going to put a good amount in that one. And I'm going to actually put probably, I don't know, maybe 1/8 of a cup or 1/4 of a cup of fruit. You can do any flavors that you want to. Have some cranberries here. That makes wonderful color, makes lovely looking kombucha. My husband loves it when I have cranberry kombucha, so we'll do a couple of the berry ones. And we need some raspberries. Oh, I have some tart cherries left off my tree last year and some raspberries kind of mixed together. So this one's a little shy. I'm going to put a little bit of cherry, blueberry, cranberry is actually delicious. Blueberry, raspberry, cranberry is delicious. You really can't go wrong. The whole reason that I even do this is done, it's ready, we could drink it just like this. I don't mind it. My family loves it to have a little bit more fizz and to have more flavor. So this is called your second ferment. You put the fruit in and we're gonna ferment it another 24 hours. This is peach. I love peach. They sell peach at the store. It's expensive. Use a little bit more peach because peach is a very light flavor. So I can put even a little bit more in there or less, whatever you have to use up. I just make it work. And with my peach, I usually put a little bit of pineapple or a little bit of mango. Oh, I have some, so we'll add a little bit of that in there too. Just a little extra piece. And that's how I do my fruit. Okay, so we're gonna kind of get that out of the way. And now we're going to use my handy dandy canning funnel. Remember, you want to use plastic when you're doing anything with kombucha. That's why I kind of got your plastic strainer. I use my plastic spoon. Don't dip with the metal. It's not good for, it's very hard on kombucha and kefirs when you use metal. All I do is pour it in. And I want it all the way up to the rim. Well, so even up to the rim and then some maybe. Sometimes your fruit floats, depends on what it is. Sometimes it sinks, it's all okay. We don't really have to stir it. Really, no fuss. And I tell you guys, your family is gonna love this. Probiotic filled, fizzy, tasty, yummy drink. You're gonna be able to help you, it's gonna help you eliminate all those other energy drinks and things that aren't so good for you. So that's all there is to it. Now that I'm looking at them better, I can see I can actually add a little bit more to a couple of them. And you're probably saying, Annette, what are you gonna do with the rest of that? Well, I would get out another jar, or I will just drink this one plain. I will, because I don't mind it. So you do again according to your taste. Then I simply put a storage cap on. The white ones or the new black ones that they have out now work just fine for canning. I spilled a little bit down here, so I might wipe my jars off so that they're not sticky. And now these are going to simply sit just like this, capped on the back of my counter. And I'm gonna let them sit for another 24 hours. So that would be like till tomorrow afternoon. And if I don't get to it tomorrow afternoon, then tomorrow night. So 24 hours or a little more than that. You can even go 2 days, you can go 48 hours. The only thing with kombucha is that it's going to start to get a little bit more tart. Of course, it's gonna get more fizzy as well. And you can decide on that. They say that the longer you go, the more probiotics you have, but you got to keep that balance to where if it's too tart, my family doesn't care for it. So I find a happy medium. It's about 24 hours or a little over. So let me just slide over here now and show you. We saved our SCOBY in here. Here is kind of like you'd call my SCOBY hotel, and date this so you know how often. If I put this in the fridge, I want to know, has it been a month, 2 months, a couple weeks since I've used this? So I put a little date down my SCOBY hotel the next time I put some in there. So this is basically a little baby SCOBY that's growing in here. So I could give this to somebody, and the more they use this, the thicker it will get like this one. This one will continue to get thicker and thicker and thicker, and I'll just keep using it. And if it grows another baby, I'll just keep saving the babies in here, whoops, until I'm ready to get rid of them. If I get too many, I'll just throw it out in the garden. It's great fertilizer. If this gets too tart right now, I can taste this. This is usable kombucha. And if it's too tart, again, I'll add some water to it and use it as fertilizer. It's excellent for plants. And basically it's gonna need, so here's, I guess, what I need to say. I wanna get rid of a little bit of this, okay? So we're gonna get rid of some. Whoops. I wanna keep all that good mother stuff in there. I wanna give it a good dose of new. Like I said, almost 2 cups or so, because I've got 2 that are gonna float in this. And they're both floating in some new. And then remember, when I added that half a cup of starter, when we made it yesterday, or a few days back, I took that half a cup of starter, so you see it's always getting new in there. The other thing you can do is some people literally add new tea and sugar water. You can decide on that, do a little bit of research to decide. This is kind of how I do mine. It lives and thrives and does great. I will cap it, and it either goes in the fridge till we've drank all this and I'm ready, or if I wanted to, you could literally start another batch of kombucha right now, making your sugar water with your cool tea, put your kombucha on there, cover it, and then wait another 5 to 10 days, okay? So that's it on the SCOBY Hotel and how you take care of it, what you can do with, excess to discard, and I'll see you tomorrow with this great tasting double fermented berry kombucha. Okay, so welcome back to the final kombucha making day, and it's ready. It has been more than 24 hours. So I'm going to take the caps off so you can see the wonderful fizz. And I'm going to share some great benefits about kombucha with you. And I'm going to let you see the wonderful fizz that you can see in this beautiful berry colored drink. Kombucha is filled with probiotics. Probiotics are living bacteria, which our body needs living bacteria. Probiotics are good for our digestive tract, for immune function. They're good brain food. It's even said that 80% of our immune system is actually affected by our gut health. Kombucha is also very rich in B vitamins and in enzymes, and it also has antioxidants. Antioxidants are one of the things that help reduce inflammation, which is another good thing. And they say that homemade kombucha is about 1 cup of homemade kombucha is about 7 carbs and only about 2 grams of sugar. So we don't have any reason not to ditch those unhealthy energy drinks that have chemicals and laden with sugar and enjoy this wonderful kombucha. So first, what I'm going to do now, what I would do myself is I would leave the caps on and I would put them right in the fridge, just like this, fruit and all, okay? Because once it's chilled, it's not going to keep fermenting a lot. A little, yes, if somebody says it keeps fermenting, very little, very, very slow, but it's going to continue to also get some of that rich fruit flavor, which I love. It might even start kind of growing a little SCOBY on top mixed with your fruit. And here's what I would say to that. Don't be worried about that. That's normal, but I don't use that and I don't eat that part at all. I would just discard it. So this is what I'm going to do. Okay, now also, I'll say, if you don't want it this way, if you want it completely ready in the fridge, you would just take it and you can, at this point, you can use metal or plastic and just strain the berries off into another clean jar, cap it with your flavor. Again, put it in the fridge and it's ready. Like I said, I choose to keep my fruit in there, okay? So I'm going to store mine in the fridge just like this. And I'm actually going to try this one today for you right here. And what I would do to serve it is I would just, it's warm, put a little bit of ice in there. And I see if I can neatly do this. Pour some of this wonderful fizzy stuff in there. And I, again, would take these berries and I would plop them right back in there, okay? I would store this in the fridge. Love all these wonderful flavors. And now this is to enjoy. This is a good one. Cranberry, strawberry. Love it. So thank you for watching. I hope that you learned a lot about kombucha. I hope you'll give it a try. You'll see that it's not hard to make healthy drinks. And I'll put some links below where you can find SCOBY and some other resources for you. And I hope that you'll hop over to itsadelight.com and see more great ideas over there. And I will see you in the next video. Okay, so a quick little tidbit. If you want to label what flavors you made so that you can remember, I labeled this one cherry. I labeled my peach. I just use Scotch tape. I take off a little bit. I fold a little tab over. I put it on my, I love these little Scotch tape tags. And I'm just gonna write strawberry on this one so I remember that this had the strawberry, the other one was cherry. And now with that tab, it doesn't stick. I can easily pull it off and look at that. We'll have no mark, nothing sticky to clean off. Works like a charm.